All right, folks, we're going to get started with our trustee candidates. So we have Danny Hardwick, Gail McCoy, and Keith Hamilton. On the ballot, they will be listed as Erwin D. Hardwick, Gail K. McCoy, and Keith Byron Hamilton. And there are 3 open seats for trustee. There are 3 candidates, so really you are meeting the bulk of your next council right now. Just like with the mayors, we're going to have you guys introduce the mayor candidates. We're going to have you introduce yourselves and talk about why you want to enter this public service role. We'll start with Danny. Thank you.
I'm Danny Hardwick. Moved to Cloudcroft in 2003 with my wife and family. We had the Burrell Street Exchange in Cloudcroft for most of those years. We started out, there wasn't a building opening for us to put a trading post in when we got here, but Bob Cave talked us into opening up a restaurant. So there had been a pizza restaurant in the Burrell Street Exchange, and he wanted to keep a restaurant in there, so we opened the pizza restaurant that we called Pie in the Sky. We ran it for a year and a half until the spot did come open. And then we were lucky that Jamocha Bean had come to town and they wanted a sandwich shop with a coffee bar, so we were able to get out of our lease with that and move into the space next to them and have the trading post for a year. And then Bob talked us around to move into the front for twice the rent, and I was afraid to do that, but he said there's more business on the front than the side, and he was right. So we ran that until my wife was diagnosed with MS. And then I sold the business to the Turners 4 years ago and took care of my wife until she passed 3 years ago. And now I run 2 online businesses. And my daughter moved to Pennsylvania, so I trek up there twice a year to see her and my granddaughter and son-in-law. I have 2 sons that live in the area that I visited. But I have a lot of time on my hands, and Cloudcroft has always been good to me and my family, so I've been kind of upset with the way that things have been going the last couple of years, and roads not getting taken care of, and the water situation, everything else. So I'm 77 years old, so I'll only be here for 1 term, and I'm not going to run for mayor afterwards. So I plan to help whoever is the mayor as much as I can, and see about getting some of the roads repaired and the things that most of us are worried about and concerned with, trying to take care of some of those things in town and being a help to whoever's in charge.
Hi, I'm Gail McCoy, and I've been on the council for 4 years. And before that, I just want to mention we talked about volunteers, and I would go to the council meetings. I wanted to see what was happening in the village, and I became interested in, am I just going to sit here or am I going to do something? So I did volunteer for the water ordinance. I worked with Grover Sterling on that and Jim Maynard, and I got to see how government works. It works slow, and it took some time to do it, but we got those ordinances pushed through. So I got to see a little bit of government, and so then I began to say, well, I need to do more than that. So I ran for office. It's been a great journey. I love it. I never thought I'd like politics as much. But I'm excited to run again and see where the village goes. I'm excited to see things completed, see things done. And we talked about volunteers a lot in the beginning, and I think that's so important for people just to get involved. The Cloudcroft Reader, what we did with the leadership was great because they got to see how it works from the inside, not standing on the outside or just seeing it at a meeting, but to actually get involved in it, be part of it. That's the best thing you can do. I even work at the library every once in a while, and I love it because you see the people, and yes, it's a lot of coffee. But it's okay. But it's great. You got to get involved in your town. You got to do something. You can't just sit there and say someone else can do this. Get out there and do it. And I've enjoyed working with Timothy on the council, and I think what I've seen, and I've been able to work with him in another way to be able to get involved with some of the people that have helped us tremendously through what we call the Council of Governments. And you don't want to be a loner in this job. You want to have that somebody with you. It's a team effort. It's not, I'm alone. I'm not a lone wolf here. Get involved, get with each other, and get things done. That's how things get done. You help each other. It's that teamwork, you know, together everybody accomplishes something, or whatever that acronym is. But it's true, it's very true. So I'm gonna put a little plug in. On the 25th, we have the pumpkin roll and we have the festival. I need volunteers. Oh, you guys are here. I know you're gonna sign up. Okay, the pumpkin roll starts at 11 o'clock. I need volunteers to help with the pumpkins rolling down the hill. And Highlands is, she's awesome. If you haven't been to Highlands, you need to go in her store, so I'm gonna put a little promo for her. And Kelsey's gonna put out face painting in a contest for the pumpkins. And then at 1 o'clock, we're walking down the street with all the kiddos in their costumes to the church, and they're gonna have their fall festival. So I need volunteers. If you can raise your hand or come to me later and help me with that, I would really appreciate it. So, but thank you. Love serving the village.
Hey folks, I'm Keith Hamilton. I am currently a trustee. I was appointed by Mayor King earlier this year to fulfill the term of Nick Hanna, who was called to serve his country. And prior to that, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission. My love affair with Cloudcroft began in March 1957 because my dad was teacher at the high school, which is now the library. And my dad was the ag teacher and teacher of the year in 1963, which is in the yearbook at the library, which I donated, by the way. I was born in a snowstorm in 1957 and grew up here through the third grade. I had family here. Moved away, spent a lot of time in other places, but I knew eventually I was going to get back to Cloudcroft. And I did that 6 years ago, bought a cabin here, and settled down to spend the rest of my life here. And then this thing in 2020 called COVID hit, and my folks got sick back home in Ohio, so I went home to take care of them. That turned out to be 4 years. So I moved back here again in 2024. I got very involved the minute I got here. I got appointed to planning and zoning. I'm on the Mexico Rails Trails. I'm a volunteer firefighter with the fire department in training. I'm very active in this village, and this village means everything to me. It was a magical place when I was a kid. It's always been a magical place. One of my biggest passions in life is Cloudcroft USA. And I'm proud to be a trustee now. I am new at this, I am learning, but I spent all of my free time before I was on council, learning how things go and what things do. And thanks to help from Gail and Mr. Maynard and others, I have been, this is a volunteer job, you guys realize that, right? We don't do this for pay, we don't do this for glory, we do this for the village of Cloudcroft, and I'm thrilled to be part of that. I have some priorities that I want to make happen in our next session. I do believe that we need a police force, and I think the numbers that we're talking about tonight are the perfect numbers. We have coverage from Otero County. Again, there's 2 people on the mountain. If they're in Tiburon or Mayhill, there's nobody around. We have coverage sometime from the state police. I am going to work with the next mayor to lower the speed limit on 82 to 25 and have a flashing sign as you come in the village that says you're doing 45 and a 25. I think that will solve some of our problems. One of the things I'm going to work on with our librarian is that the Michael Nivison Library is the former high school. And the high school had a bell tower and a bell, which is in the Sacramento Mountain Museum. We're going to put that bell back on the museum, back on the library building, and that bell is going to be used to bring things to order in this town. When we start a 4th of July parade, we're going to ring that bell. That's one of my passions. I have a few others. But thank you for listening to me, and I do believe that the three of us are going to get elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all three of you. Now we're going to open it up for questions. We've got Grover.
Hello. You're going to be a new trustee, so one of the first things that you'll do is go to Santa Fe and you'll learn the basics of how to be a trustee. Great experience. You'll meet a lot of people. You'll learn a lot of things. Then you'll have to balance the budget. You'll go to a retreat. I don't know where it's going to be. If it's going to be here, it gets to be in Ruidoso. But you go to a retreat and you'll have to balance the budget. After that, you learn that you can make a motion to start something in motion, to start something. And the two of you already know this because you've been through the class. So I want to know who's going to make the motion to go into our ordinance of recording video and audio and amending it to require forward-facing, rear-facing cameras, clear audio. I can help you with this. Clear audio. And to post it in a place where all of us and people who don't live here, you're talking about the minutes, can go at our leisure and watch our meetings. And not just the council meetings, planning and zoning, all public meetings. To go on, who's going to make the motion to go into our ordinance and amend it and require, go through the fine-tooth comb and require forward, backward audio. And who's going to second it?
You raise hands, you can answer.
I'd be all for that. It would take three of us, or two of us, and then the mayor would have a vote, but I would definitely be for that. So it wouldn't be a problem with me.
I think what Timothy, Grover, when you brought that up earlier, Timothy was in agreement, I think Dusty was too, that, you could work with someone, if it's broken, fix it. That's what we want to see. And we do want everybody to have knowledge of what's going on in the meetings. We don't want to hold back anything, so yes. And plus it's like Mayor said, you have to have the minutes out within 10 days. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at. It needs to go on the agenda. Once it's on the agenda, then of course we have the discussion time and we discuss it. And then you move into action where there's a motion made and someone seconds it. So I think that's something that needs to be discussed though.
Yeah, I would agree completely. As Dusty said earlier, we had a meeting last week, a special meeting of the council to vote on raises for the water, sewer, wastewater, road staff. And I happened to be in Florida holding my brand new grandbaby. And I was able to attend the meeting by teams, which is a wonderful thing. But I would go back to, I'm 68 years old, I'm not a tech guy. I know the mayor's a tech guy. I'm not a tech guy. Let's make it as easy as we can for people to follow our meetings. And whether it's Facebook, whatever it is, it's not necessarily Teams, but it needs to be improved. It needs to be a camera facing the trustees. It needs to be something that people can access easily, and then followed up with the meetings within the minutes within 10 days, like the ordinance for planning and zoning. Our minutes were supposed to be published within 10 days. We couldn't do that because we didn't have staff to do that. But I am currently working with our village council, Zach Cook, on a couple of other items, one of which I just want to mention real quick. Cloudcroft Village is Cloudcroft, but Cloudcroft is more than the village. Cloudcroft is Cloud Country West and Robin Hood and Lost Lodge and this entire mountain. And I feel like people that don't live in the village limits of Cloudcroft, but yet shop here and eat here and own businesses on Burrow Street should have a seat at the table. And when I say a seat at the table, we're not going to have a at-large council member from the area. But we could have an advisory committee that advises the mayor and village council made up of those folks that don't vote in the village, but eat here and pay taxes here and own businesses here. So that's one of the things that I'm working on with our attorney right now.
By the way, I don't think that you have to post your minutes. If the audio, if the video has a transcript of everything said, you don't have to have somebody write the minutes out and post it. It's all there, posted legally. So it's just a matter of fixing the mechanical
Well,
problem.
and the mayor, to his point, Otter AI is now being used, and I actually used that to transcribe minutes from one of the planning and zoning meetings. And it's a great tool to have, it's a great tool to use. But again, it needs to be accessible to the public. So.
Right. I think with that note, I have a question, which is, as trustees, how will you listen to the community?
Well, one of the things that I like, and I talked to the mayor of Red River, and they have the town hall meetings. I think it's a great place for people to get, they even have potlucks, so I think that's kind of cool. People get together, they're able to feel comfortable, and a town hall meeting is a good place for people to come. We started out with that, with Mayor Turner, we started out with the town hall meetings, and then people don't come, a lot of times. And so it's difficult. I think sometimes in the reader you have people that you have questionnaires and people answer questions on that, and even maybe the Mountain Monthly. But in the meetings, when we have a meeting that's on and there's an agenda there, there's not much room. And in fact, you do get the 2 minutes. And most towns in New Mexico, some of them don't even allow the public to speak those 2 minutes. So, for us to have those 2 minutes is pretty good. And then once the agenda goes and we're starting on that agenda, there's no room for discussion from the public. You're there to listen at that point. So it is difficult. I would like to see more involvement and know more of what the public wants and what direction they see us going here in Cloudcroft.
I'm not even there yet, and they're already asking me questions, so I guess I listen to what they have to say, and if I think it's a good idea, then I tell them that I think that maybe we can do something. If it's not, it's going to be too far out of the budget or something like that, then I tell them there might be something down the road, but it's not anything that's going to happen during my term. So.
I would agree with that. I'd just like to add that I'm an accessible person. People that know me know that I'm accessible. And so my email, my cell phone number are going to be publicized. I am going to be willing to take any calls, any emails, any concern at any day or night. That's not true. The mayor texts me at 3 a.m. he does do that. He does text at 3 a.m. Don't text me at 3 a.m., please. But I am very accessible, and I am willing to listen, and I do love meeting people, talking to people, and finding out what they think and what they believe. Thank you.
Excellent. Any questions from the audience? Yes. All right.
Thanks. I was going to say, when I came in as a trustee, I went to the first COG meeting that I went to in Roswell, and I asked to get those monitors, and I asked to get GPS units for the village staff, and I asked to get GIS software. And then through all that time, I felt that I stepped up as a trustee. And I think you guys being going to be elected is we can have trustees do the minutes. We can have trustees post stuff. So would you guys be willing to aid in that if we don't have staff, or if there isn't staff at times, to get involved in that way?
Well, certainly.
Again, I'm not your tech guy, but I already volunteer a lot, as a lot of folks know. We had a grand reopening of the library this year. The entrance looked terrible. It was nasty, it looked terrible. The flower pots were sitting empty. So before the grand reopening, I took the time to paint the entryway to the library, planted flowers and did all that. And that was just something because people were going to see the library. So, and I volunteer in a lot of different ways. But I think so much of what you're doing needs to be done by others that are volunteers. And I'm available for that, to the extent that I can.
I think, we did step up, a lot of us. And in that summer, when everything was going disarray, a lot of us stepped up. We took our holiday and we went in and we looked at checks that were scattered all over the table, and we started to put things in boxes and get everything ready. So I think there's a willingness to do this. We wouldn't be in this position if there wasn't a willingness. I think you have to have some knowledge of what you're doing. You don't want to make the mistakes. So I think if we're taught to do something or shown how to do something, or there's a template how to do something, I think we could handle it. I'm not techie either. I wasn't born in that era, but I think I can learn. All of us have a phone. It gets updated. We take care of it. We do it. So I think we could do something, yeah.
I'm 77 years old. I'm not a tech guy. So for me to do the minutes would be like a joke. I would step up to do other things that would need to be done, that I would know how to help in the office. If we needed somebody up there to pass checks back to a girl because she's busy doing something else, or logging things like that, I can do, but you don't want me doing the minutes, I guarantee you.
This kind of goes back to your question just before that about how will you listen to citizens in the village, because a few years ago, I was really trying to communicate with trustees, and it was very difficult because some of the trustees had personal email address. They didn't want you contacting them. I had to kind of track people down and try to make appointments and go find them and sit down and talk to them. And my question is, and I don't know if this is true in most municipalities, but I would think that trustees should have a Village of Cloudcroft email address that is official as a trustee, so that constituents who elect our trustees can easily communicate with trustees. Is that something that has been discussed? Is that something you would commit to accepting a trustee Village of Cloudcroft email address as an official way for people to contact you?
Yes, ma'am. And in fact, we do have a trustee email. So it's Trustee McCoy at Village of Cloudcroft Village. I always get that one. CloudcroftVillage.com.
Is that published anywhere on the
Yes.
website?
Yes. And
We couldn't, I mean, how would we know that?
we'll get that on the website. And it is on the flyers that have gone out for the pumpkin roll and everything. I did go up and down Burrow Street and gave out my flyers. So, and that trustee email is on there. So you can contact us.
If you need any contact, I will.
Well, I think that the Village of Cloudcroft website, as an official municipality website, should have that information.
Yeah, I agree with
We shouldn't
you.
have to call anybody. We
Well, I
should-
agree with you. And we do have somebody in the office that's now working on the website. So if you look at it, it is changing. And a lot of other things are going to be added to. We also have an employee newsletter, which is fantastic. Because as trustees, sometimes we don't know everything that goes on with the village employees. So it's great to know, and it creates camaraderie. It gets you to know one another. So I think it's a good thing to have the employee newsletter, and hopefully we'll see how far that goes to get that out to the public too. We'll see where that's going.
All right, either of you. Keith or Danny?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it hasn't been very long that we've had official emails, but they are in place now, and they will be made public, because how else? How else are you going to communicate? And again, I'm available. I'll have my cell phone number out. So at any time folks want to chat, the mayor has on his email where you can book an appointment with him. That's something that works sometimes, probably not all the time, but you're looking at 3 people that are going to make themselves very available to this village. I can guarantee you these 2 will, and I know I will as well. So I think you're going to see maybe a different level, but you're going to definitely see more accessibility, more transparency, more communication than you maybe have in the past.
Danny?
Since we don't have an office to go to, I would be open to having an email. I'm not going to give out my personal phone number, though. The village can give me a phone with a number on it, and people can call me on that. But I do answer my emails, and I'd be happy to meet with people whenever they would like to, and find a place to meet.
As trustees, what is the number one issue in Cloudcroft that you want to tackle, and then how will you advocate for solving our problems?
Well, like I said, I came here January 1st of 2003. When I arrived, we arrived here to 12 inches of snow. And I couldn't get up to Coyote, where the house we live in now was a rental property at that time, and couldn't get up there. So I talked to Bob. I had rented a place from in town for the pizza place and told him I can't get up there. He said, go down and see the mayor. I said, New Year's Day. He goes, he'll be in his restaurant back there flipping burgers. So I go back there, and Mayor Dave was back there on a grill that was about this big with maybe 4 burgers on it, and the place was packed. And I told him who I was and what my problem was, and he told me I'll have the road cleared in an hour. And he did. So that's the way I remember Cloudcroft. I would see him in the post office and tell him I've got a pothole down there in front of my house. Within 2 days, they would come and fill the pothole. That's the type of service I want to see in the town again. I want a police force back. I don't want it to be farmed out to the sheriff's department or to the Department of Public Safety. I think we can have a police force here. It's not going to be 24/7, but it hasn't been 24/7 since I've lived here. And I'd like to see the roads repaired. I'd like to see the water brought into a condition where we don't have to buy it every summer when we run low on water. I'd like Dusty said earlier, there's been people in town that have approached me and said they know how we can fix it. I hope they do know how. I'll listen and see what they say, and then maybe between the 4 of us, whoever the 4 of us are, and the mayor, something can get done.
I think those issues are always going to be the issues, roads and water. Those are always going to be our issues. They're top issues all the time. They're always discussed. We always have those somewhere on the agenda. And so I think we're working on those. Mine is, I love outdoor recreation, and I think that's one of the things I like, working with Park and Recs, with the outdoor recreation, and we've done quite a bit with that as our advisory committee there, and things are happening. Elevation Park, things are going ahead with that, the ice skating rink, bringing more tourists. As someone said the other day, I was talking to him, and he said, do you know how much tourists spend in the village when they come, when they go to anywhere or any place? I said, they go everything. They don't go home with anything. So that's a good thing, right? They spend all their money. That's what we want. We want them to spend their money here. You know, that's our economy here. I would like to see our tourism start to grow more, and maybe even have somebody who is actually doing tourism here and advocating it for our village.
Priorities are everything that we do as a village, everything that we do as trustees and as a mayor, and as planning and zoning and water and all that, everything revolves around the budget. So the budget is always at the top because it's everything is how do you get the money, how do you spend the money. So the number one priority I think for this village is always budget. That's probably the number one. But that goes to so many different ways. I mean, how do we get more income? How do we get more tourism? How do we get heads and beds that pays our lodger's tax, that pays our gross receipts tax, so that we have the money to pay a police force, so we have the money to keep the guys on maintenance and water that are, we have the best public works employees in the state of New Mexico. I honestly believe that. My biggest priority after budget is how do we hire and retain the best employees for this village that we can get? How do we do that? We've had so much turnover, and there's so many different reasons why we've had so much turnover. We have had so much turnover. What I would like to see, what my main focus is going to be, is keeping good employees, finding good employees, paying them so that they don't go to Alamogordo after we've trained them. Finding and keeping good employees is going to be one of my major items.
Thank you.
So, of course, we're down one trustee at large. And should Dusty win this election, would you prefer that the sitting mayor, Mr. King, would you prefer he wait and allow Dusty to appoint his trustee, or would you have a problem with him doing it himself?
That's an excellent question. Mayor and I have not discussed this in any way, shape, or form.
No, I'm asking you what you want.
No, I understand. So I'm saying I'm not biased in any way because I haven't discussed this with anybody. I had the privilege of being nominated by the mayor to be a trustee, and honored to do so. I believe that we have such a short time frame between now and when the next administration takes over that I think it would behoove us probably for that appointment to wait until the new administration is in place. That's my opinion. So.
I would have liked it at a couple of meetings because I got outvoted. when there's two and there's only one of me. So, yes, but I think you're right. We have a short period of time. Mm-hmm.
We'll know on November 4th who the new mayor is going to be, so at that point, if Mayor King's still here, then he should go ahead and appoint this new trustee, I think. If Dusty's voted in, then I think we should wait till the new mayor takes office so that he can work with whoever the trustee he thinks will do the best job for what his agenda is.
So as Trustee McCoy pointed out, sometimes there will be a divided council. How do you plan on navigating that? Let's start with Danny.
It depends on what we're divided on. If it's something that I think that behooves the city, then I will work with them on that, even if it's something I'm not at the top of my priority list. But there's very few things that I've seen. I'll just mention one thing that I'm not for, so you'll know ahead, because you're not going to be able to vote me out anyway. But I'm not for the bridge. I drive through Dallas all the time. I don't see a bridge anywhere in Dallas except over large freeways. And I don't see that many people using it. They still try to dodge through the traffic because they don't want to climb the stairs. So, but in the Dallas area, that's over in North Dallas especially, you see these lit up areas where everything lights up and turns on when somebody gets in a crosswalk and you have to stop. I would rather see a couple of those in the town rather than the bridge. But I will try to work with the new mayor or whoever the mayor is and the council members. But if I'm not for it, I'm not going to vote for it. I can tell you that right now.
I just have a verse that I think about quite often, it's Proverbs 3:5, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all of your ways, and he shall direct your path." I think that's something I go by. I'm not the wisest person. I'm not the strongest person or anything. And sometimes my views, aren't in agreement. But I try and do what's best. And I work with people.
I don't believe anything she just said. So at the end of the day, we're neighbors. We're all residents of the best place on earth. And that's what it needs to be at the end of the day. Now, I will advocate loudly and for a long time for things that I am interested in, and you will know what I am for, and you will know what I'm not so much for. But I'm never going to disparage anybody else who disagrees with me. I will always try to see their viewpoint, and I guarantee you, within 2 months of the new administration, the new village council, we will have some discrepancies, and we will have things that we vote against each other on, and that's the blessings of government. That's the blessings of what the government we live with, and it's an exciting thing. One thing I would like to encourage is more participation at the monthly meetings, more participation in communicating with the mayor, communicating with trustees. I started going to these meetings in January. 5 people would show up, maybe 3 people. And
a lot of people watching online. A lot of people watching online.
Well, and that's a wonderful thing. That's one you can't tell that when you're at the meeting, obviously. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But I also encourage, we're a little village, we're a square mile. I mean, you can walk to these meetings for crying out loud. I'm just encouraging more. I'm encouraging more participation, is what I'm saying.
All right, do we have any audience questions? Oh, I'm going to go here. Okay.
My name's Linda Carter, and I own the Crofting Bed and Breakfast and the Burrow Street Boarding House, and I've been here since '94. And speaking of the Crofting, by the way, you're invited to the grand opening and the ribbon cutting tomorrow, 3 to 6 at the Crofting. I'd like to show you all the wonderful things I've been doing. And so really, I just have one question, and it's really for Gail. Gail McCoy, I'm sorry, Miss McCoy. And I just want to be sure and say this right to you, of course, but I was absent the last meeting. And I discovered that you had voted no on the Cloudcroft Art Workshop. So, of course, I've worked with Cloudcroft Art Workshop for 25 years, and I know what this Cloudcroft Art Workshop does for this village. And I couldn't understand why you would vote no unless it was a personal thing, and I hope it's not because of the Crofting. But you did vote no, and I figured that if maybe you should have recused yourself, I don't know. But I'm curious as to why you did that, because, gosh, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, I went through the whole town with a survey, and every business in town voted for us to be sure and stay here and have the food and pay rent. But the amount of money that we bring into this village is enormous. And if you checked it out, you would have checked that out. So can you give me an idea why you voted no?
That's a good question. And in fact, I approached Hannah afterwards, after the meeting, and asked her, hey, why didn't you ask me why I voted nay? Because my name was in big bold print in the Cloudcroft Reader that I voted nay, but no explanation. And one of the explanation is, and I had already gone to Mayor King and said, what is it, and he explained it's called in-kind. Well, in-kind, in respects, if it's a grant or something, that's when you use in-kind. So it wasn't in agreement with in-kind. What I have always proposed for the village is to bring up Cloudcroft's economy. And I've gone to several outdoor conferences where that's promoted. So it's always been a burn for me to bring more, not just businesses, but bring up our economy here. And I don't know exactly how to do everything, but that was one of the things. I do work downstairs. I'm one of the instructors for Cloudcroft Fitness, and Cloudcroft Fitness pays for the rent yearly down there, so does the weaving. When I saw on the agenda, there was 300 and I guess it was 89 or 69, something like that, for a year for the Cloudcroft workshop. I went, wait a minute, you know, here we are in Cloudcroft Fitness and the weaving, and we pay on a monthly basis for that room. So I was not in favor of seeing $300 and something a year. I understand that, and I love the workshops. Do not get me wrong. She does their group does an incredible job, and I got to be sponsored last year in the Cloudcroft workshop, and I absolutely loved it. And so I do not, it's nothing against, in fact, Jim Maynard came up to me, he leaned over to me after I did that, and he goes, you know what you did? And I go, yeah, I know what I did. So, but it was not personally, Linda, and I hope you don't think it's a vengeance or vendetta, because my heart is clean. It is very clean, and I don't hold any grudges or anything. I did have the crofting for 15 years, and relinquished it in a year. It's been since June. It's been a very hard time for me and my husband. It's not been easy to walk this road. We are healing. We are going through this together, but we have a good Lord that keeps us up every day, and we're making it through because we've lost an income, and we're surviving. It is not an easy thing to do, but it is nothing in my heart, truly, that is against Mrs. Carter or any of the art workshop people. It was because of the in-kind, so I want that. And I was going to write something in the paper about that, but you caught me earlier.
Well, if you had checked back, you would have found out how much that we bring into this
yes,
village.
I know.
And then you would have understood that very little bit of, and actually it's not for the whole year. It's for 3 months. See, and you didn't realize that either. June, July, and August are the only times we rent that. So, you know, if you had checked, you would have realized. And to me, and I think a lot of people, it was against the arts and against the Cloudcroft Art Workshop. So for her.
Do we have any other questions?
I'll get to you next.
Recently, I read somewhere, I can't recall where it was, but on January 1, the trustees are going to be paid something, X amount for each of the trustees. The mayor is going to be paid something. Was that voted on amongst you guys?
It has not been yet.
It's not happening now?
It has for me. I talked to the COG, and I didn't want to bring it up, but I would love to bring it up again at the one of the meetings after the mayors are elected. But I think we are volunteers. We are one of 2 counties, or one of 2 villages that their trustees and their mayors do not get any pay at all. And I think that there needs to be, because what I see is I would love to see more young people come in here, and people that are working, and maybe they have to go right home. Maybe if they got a little bit more, we're giving them incentive to be part of this council, or run for office, or do something, or be part of be part of something. You don't get paid for those, but to be on council, the trustee and the mayor, I do think need to be paid. And I do have an ordinance that was passed in Ruidoso that I think we could use and bring into Cloudcroft.
Okay, so I'm real quick on hers. This should finish up. Just to let you know, if I was the mayor, I would return all the funds and I would donate it to the volunteer fire department in Cloudcroft.
Great.
And Timothy King has said the same thing, and I said, that's great, that's wonderful. Donate it, do what you want, but I really think that they need to keep answering.
Just to maybe take this point a little further, again, Cloudcroft is one of 2 municipalities in the entire state of New Mexico that does not offer a stipend or some sort of support to its mayor and government body. And what we're talking about, and we haven't really discussed this, but what we're looking at is a stipend of $3,000 per year per trustee. Now, if you think that's robbing the bank, I don't know what you're thinking. But again, this is a volunteer. If it's going to continue to be a volunteer, we'll do it. We'll absolutely do it. But this is something that needs to be looked at. And again, I like Gail's point. It's like, we're mostly retired folks. How about that person that's teaching school that wants to be part of a government body? But they're going to spend 30 hours a week doing this, and they'd like to get $3,000 a year for it. So I just want to make that point.
All right, Danny?
Wow. None of us retired.
He said he's retired, and I haven't retired yet, so.
Yes. We have one here.
Thank you guys again for volunteering, and I think it's the most noble thing you can do. I want to combine my 2 questions from earlier. I think it was fair to ask the mayors. I think it's fair to ask you guys. Number 1, please identify your current source of income, because that's been a topic of great interest in the last few years. Then number 2 is, would you burden us with more taxes of the current taxpayer, or would you be in favor of increasing the tax base? That means building more of Cloudcroft. So I think those are 2 questions that I'd like to hear your answers. Thank you.
So I'm not retired yet. I sold my business to Phyllis and Craig. I have properties over in Ruidoso that I've sold. I do collect Social Security. I've had a number of businesses through the years that I've started and sold. So only reason I have 2 online businesses now is because I don't have anything else to do. So one kept me busy enough, but I saw other people selling the same thing that I was selling, but for more money because they gave a discount, and women like discounts. So I started a second store with same things I had in the first store, but raised the prices and put a discount on it, so they're already buying them at a higher price. So I think I'll do okay.
Well, like I mentioned before, we live on Social Security. That's it. So, Jim, to your question about the tax, I think, again, I would go back to the tourism. I would go back to that because every dollar spent here, and I go back to what Linda said, and I understand when people come here, they do buy meals, they stay in hotels, they shop at the shops, the employees, the employer pays them, and then the employees go out, they spend their money here, they live in the village, so it goes on, and we get that money. It goes around the town. So my whole thing is to bring more into the village, not to change the village in its entirety as who we are. We're the village, we're not a city. But to make it so where we bring people in and they are staying here, their heads in beds. There are people doing things and activities going on a lot so we can have people coming in. That's how I would do it.
So I have my own business. I didn't mean we were retired. I mean we're self-employed. That's what I got. So I am not retired. I draw Social Security, and I have my own business, which is Eagle Exteriors of New Mexico. I am a contractor, and you are looking at the entire staff right here. I do make a 6-figure income on my contracting business, only if you count the 2 after the decimal. If you count the 2 after the decimal, then I have 6-figure income. I get by. I just get by, and I have 2 nephews living with me that I'm helping to support. I love doing my construction work. I absolutely love it to death, even though my knees don't sometimes. To your second question, I think a combination of the two is probably warranted. We have, one of the things that we can look at, that we can adjust, is what our water rates are. They have not been adjusted for a while. I live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cabin with 2 nephews. They don't often bathe, they don't often do dishes, but not once have we gotten close to the 4,000 gallons a month, which is what I pay for. I think an idea was maybe lower that 4,000 threshold to 3,000, and then you pay extra for anything over that. Either that, or we look at increasing water rates. I think it's time that we look at increasing water rates, or at least adjusting them, doing something like that. But my biggest proponent would be heads and beds. What can we do to develop more business in this town? What can we have 25% empty lots. We have 25% falling down buildings that need to be raised and rebuilt. We have a lot of potential in this village, as small as we are. There's a lot of potential in this village for growth, even within the city limits that we have now. I'm a contractor. I do remodeling. I flip homes. Call me. Let's do some of that. No, I'm kidding. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I didn't.
Oh, Danny, I'm sorry.
I didn't answer the part about the taxes.
Okay.
I'm not for raising taxes. So I'm not even for raising the water bill, because if you check with Ruidoso or the Downs, their water bills are cheaper than our water bills. I do think that they could probably lower the level, like he said, and as you use more water, you pay more for it. But if you're staying under, then I don't think you should pay more than the 106 that we're paying now. And I would like to see that the monies that are going in to fix the roads are actually put into an account, and the roads are fixed with that money if you're going to collect it from my water bill.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, I have one more, which is, what is one measurable success that you are hoping to achieve in your term as trustee? One measurable outcome that you consider a success that you're going to advocate for.
I think one measurable outcome that I would like to see at the end of my term is that we have employees that are 4 years longer on staff in Cloudcroft, that have been here for 4 years. And we're still looking for a new clerk, we're still looking for police officers. I guess one measurable thing is that we have a vibrant and functioning staff of satisfied, hardworking employees.
I think I'm with that with Keith, but also I would like to see, out of the leadership group that we had, I would love to see not just us three people, if there's 3 positions open and 3 people and there's nobody running, I would love to see people run for office. More people get involved with our village and the things going on in our village. If I can create an atmosphere and say, look what you can accomplish, look what you can do. Come, join us, be part of this team. I think that, for me, that would be an accomplishment.
Hopefully, I'm going to be the one that gets the 2-year term. So if y'all don't vote for me, that's okay. But during that 2 years, I would like to see a police department back in place. I would like to see our roads repaired and fixed. And I don't go for, I've heard in the past we want to go back to gravel roads. I've never lived on a gravel road, and I don't want to start today. But I would like to see more of our roads repaired, even if it's just a seal rather than asphalt. But I would, again, like to see all of our employees in place and happy employees that are glad that they're working for the city of Cloudcroft.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Hardwick, Mr. McCoy, Mr. Hamilton. I appreciate your time and your candor. Thank you to everybody for